Welcome to the FMCG Guys, the podcast that dives into the innovation, strategy, and trends shaping consumer goods and retail in Europe and beyond.
Welcome to the FMCG Guys podcast. I'm Daniel Torres. Here we speak with the top talents, leaders, and luminaries in the consumer goods and retail industries. We're likely the largest podcast of this type in Europe, and we're now over 180 episodes in. So do go into our website or on your favorite podcast platform to entertain yourself and be educated with some of the industry's top voices. And remember, we are part of a family of podcasts headed by the CPG guys in the US. So tune into the show where Peter, Shri, and Brian speak about the consumer goods industry at the other side of the Atlantic with a strong emphasis on e-commerce, actually. So today I mentioned that we're the biggest the biggest FMCG, and retail podcast in Europe, but we're actually going to the other side of the pond and down to Latin America to better understand the e-commerce scene at that exciting part of the world. And couldn't be better accompanied to do that by my co-host, Christina Nicolau. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Hi, Daniel. I'm doing very well, and I'm very excited about our conversation today. LATAM is one of my favorite regions to talk about because it's rapidly evolving and it has an amazing culture and even a more amazing food than people. So looking forward to the conversation.
If you like, we can do it in Spanish, eh?
No, it's okay.
I wouldn't push it.
Okay, maybe for another day we can do a special episode with 2 language options. That would mean actually with AI now you can actually record a conversation and it will turn it into their language. So anyway, maybe in the future we'll do that. So it's not only Christina and I, we heard another voice here, and this is Jennifer Conley, who's the head of media solutions North Latin America at PedidosYa. Hey Jennifer, thanks for joining. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Thank you, Daniel and Christine, for this opportunity. So happy to be here. I'm really, really excited to have a conversation with both of you about the opportunities in Latin American markets.
And we were talking before that I'd only met you through a LinkedIn post that we made to congratulate you for your new role. But guess who knew you better? Christina and you worked together at Diageo, right? You have to tell me about the backstory about that. We didn't speak about it previously, so we saved it for the episode. So how did you guys interact?
I was in global, right? So I was speaking with lots of markets. And of course, we had a lot of focus also on LATAM. And I have to say that Jennifer was leading the only part that was always green, always delivering on targets, always providing the right data. So I wasn't having a lot of interaction with her because I didn't need to, but she was one of my favorite persons.
Oh, thank you. You were one of my favorite ones. Well, Diageo is it's an amazing company, and we get the chance to know a lot of wonderful people there and share our learnings, not only report our data and get it to the targets, which is like part of what we have to do, but also like exchange opinions and have best practices. So Christine always bring to the table to all the markets the best practices across the globe. And we learned from her quite a lot. So I'm really grateful to meet her and continue having this relationship with her. Regardless, we both are not working in Diageo anymore.
Clearly. But kudos to you guys, a global person and a local or regional person, that after working together, they still get on very well. That says a lot of good things about you guys. So you mentioned, Jennifer, that you're no longer working at Diageo. Indeed, you're working at PedidosYa. So can you tell me a bit about your role at PedidosYa, but also actually maybe we can start a bit with your career quickly about your career background and then about your role at PedidosYa and what is PedidosYa? Maybe we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, sure. So it's been a long road. I have over the past 50 years, I work since very young age, but in the corporate side, mostly 15 years. So I develop expertise in marketing, but mostly in digital media and e-commerce. I was part of that generation where like we have like everything integrated, then everything isolated, then everything complex, even with agencies. So I have passed through all that stages. And I passed through a lot of series of progressive roles in telecom companies, beauty, but mostly on the beverage industry. My background is advertising, and then I started working in those areas, and then I changed to challenge development management for e-commerce, and then I craft my skills integrating connections, media connections campaigns for marketing. Then I advanced into a more like commercial roles where I focus on integrating like digital solutions to drive growth and innovation within the commercial teams and distributors. For me, one of my key milestones was like leading the digital transformation journey for Diageo in Central America and the Caribbean. And this experience, I guess, solidified my passion for leveraging digital strategies to achieve results not only in B2C, but also in B2B and D2C, where we're like quite new for CPGs companies after COVID, because before COVID, they didn't even mention e-commerce as part of our commercial planning process.
And can you tell us a bit about PedidosYa, what the business is about?
So we are part of Delivery Hero. So Delivery Hero is the biggest holding of on-demands across the globe. PedidosYa is where it's represented in Latin American markets. So we have, I must say, like we are like the leader in the region. We are mostly in most markets of Latin America, and actually we are an on-demand player, but also we have our dark store, which is PedidosYa Market. So we have two different approaches. So one is where as an aggregator, how do we manage and satisfy the needs of our local shops, supermarkets, convenience stores, and get the right product to the right shoppers. But for the other side of the business, we have PedidosYa Market, which is like the supermarket for PedidosYa across the region. So yeah, it's really exciting to be here and really challenging because we have different strategies for those departments.
I guess the biggest difference for you is we were together from the CPG side, and now you're on the flip side of things, looking at how everything is being developed and all the strategies from platforms/retailer, because you also have your own dark stores, right? So tell me, did you have any aha moments? What was the experience looking at things the other way around?
So for me, it was like recognizing the critical importance of integrating retail media, which is what I lead, with retail operations. So at the beginning, it was like isolated from the retail operations. But then I say, okay, we realize that if our retail media efforts are somewhat integrated with retail operations, we can boost our overall performance, because there will be more alignment. So this experience, this aha moment, allows me to allow us to develop together the teams from retail operations, from retail media, how we can work together to drive partner growth and strengthen their relationships with CPGs and brands or even services, and to like better support our partners to get into their objectives and enhance mutual success. So for me, that's because it's not only me, my team selling retail media. It's like how it's integrated with the whole retail system, with local shops, with the dark stores, and so on. So transitioning from a brand side role to a retailer side has been a very profound learning experience for me, because one of the most significant lessons has been like shifting my focus on brand building to add sales and develop relationship with brands and media agencies, but also understand the operational size of the business. So from the brand side, as you might know, my efforts were like centered around creating and communication awareness and consideration. However, moving to the retailer side, it required me to adapt to a more immediate data-driven approach. No, so for example, for instance, I have to learn how to quickly respond to our partner needs, our CPG's needs. This involved, for example, a deep dive into data analytics to better understand consumer preference and optimize our retail media initiatives. So we use analytics to tailor our promotional strategies and inventory management based on the consumer behavior. What's the cross basket, what the average ticket, what are the products that they usually purchase, what is the time of return of that specific product or category. And this not only improves our ability to meet customer demands, but also it strengthens our relationship with CPGs and brands because we are providing them insights and information to leverage their objectives. And by aligning these strategies with the consumer trends that we are seeing, we enhance our collaborative efforts, and I believe it drove a more impactful results in advertising for our partners. So I must say, to get it short, like this transition really taught me the importance of agility and responsiveness in our retail environment, and how leveraging data can drive more effective and timely decision making. So for me, that's really challenging because we are used to, as a technology company, this is part of our DNA.
And yeah, when you took the role at PedidosYa, what was the one thing that excited you the most?
So for me, is to be part of my background is like I used to work in media agencies, and then I moved to CPGs, and I want to understand the full business of e-commerce. So for me, it was part of I need to be on the retailer side to have an understanding of how all the ecosystem works. So for me, working in PedidosYa is a chance to be at the forefront of innovation in a rapidly evolving digital landscape. That's basically it. And I'm really passionate about how to harness digital strategies to drive growth of our growth, but our partners' growth as well. Mm-hmm. So, and being in Latin America, as Christine, I agree with Christine. I love Latin America. I think this is a region that presents both unique and exciting opportunities. And I really relish the chance to tackle these challenges and make tangible impacts in our business and for our partners. So being part of a team that it's dedicated to pushing the boundaries, to upskill and have reflections and conversations with partner and key stakeholders about retail media and the opportunities that they bring into this new this landscape. It's really challenging, but at the same time very exciting for me. So yeah, I'm really grateful for to be here.
I'm wondering, Jennifer, with your team, what is that you see in terms of trends now? You've been in LATAM for a long time. You've seen how consumers and shoppers evolve. What do you see lately?
So I see there are some prominent trends that are shaping the industry. So for example, we know consumers are increasing and prioritizing convenience and accessibility. For me, this is key. So this shift is evident to the rise of the number of transactions that's growing through mobile apps and online platforms. No, so it's reflecting, I guess, the preference of seamless and more efficient shopping experiences. And there are also another trend that I see that it's increasing on personalization and data-driven experiences. So for me, consumers are expecting brands to deliver tailored recommendations and relevant offers based on their preference and purchase history. So for me, another trend that it's not like external, but what companies must embrace is the emphasis on leveraging data analytics in their like structures to enhance consumer engagement and satisfaction, not only dependable on the partners, but also internally on CPGs. Like for me, it's something that is key. And I believe these both trends are like are compelling. I have to say, like compelling brands to adapt their strategies. You know, I see a lot of CPGs like trying to move into this space because they want to ensure they meet the needs of their customers with a more informed and connected consumer base. So that the data is really important. So for me, companies that effectively integrate convenience, personalization, and adaptability into this very like competitive and fast-paced environment do their offerings are the ones that are going to be better positioned to success in this dynamic market, I must say. Yeah.
And how do you see, like, you guys are on demand, which is basically like what sometimes we call here rapid delivery or even Q-Commerce if it's very fast, but in that whole space, how do you compare that in FMCG versus marketplaces and e-retailers, or like the online side of regular retailers in Latin America? How is that mix evolving?
So I believe the digital landscape, it's very diverse, and each e-commerce model offers like advantages, you know, and service different consumer needs. However, I think this landscape is increasingly integrating these models to create a more seamless shopping experience, you know. I believe even on-demand platforms, marketplaces, e-retailers are very focused on advancements in technology, you know, such as like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and are driving this solution. However, the lines between the three of them are starting to get very blurry, you know, because they are like it's becoming not fluid but blurry. I don't see a lot of distinctions, like really like mark as it used to be, like, no, I don't know, 5 years ago. So in the case of on demands, I guess they prioritize immediate delivery and convenience, and the value is on how we offer quick solutions to them. So basically, it's more related to convenience and efficiency, supported in the technology sense for real-time tracking and predictive delivery times. Marketplaces, I would say, they focus on a huge variety of products from multiple sellers in one place, which is really convenience as well. And they emphasize on competitive pricing, and they have more. They depend a lot of user reviews as well, you know, as part of like a conversion tool. In terms of your retailers, the thing is that they have been really well positioned in the physical spaces. So they often they leverage this through their strong brand loyalty, you know, maybe exclusive products or like personalized services, and like they should have like a distinctive brand experience. But I guess like there are a lot of blurry lines between these models. So for example, retailers are incorporating on-demand features, marketplaces are enhancing their delivery capabilities. I mean, these whole integrations, it's in the aim of, I guess, provide the consumers a more flexible options, you know,
for different shopping missions, perhaps, where one might serve a little bit better than the other.
Yeah, for sure. Even in PedidosYa, you know, you have I don't know, a mom who is like they receive a notification from school about like some school supplies that they need to purchase, you know, but it's, I don't know, 9 p.m. So where should I look? That's a shopping mission for a specific thing. Or
Yeah,
the other
very
ones are
unique.
maybe I have like I will go with my friends on a weekend to the beach, and I need to purchase drinks and snacks and so on. So it will depend on I think the adaptability and and the convenience. It's for me it's key as part of a trend. So yeah, I would say that will be what I see from these models. I believe, like, if I say to, like, if I remember the presentations that I did 4 or 5 years ago, there were very distinctive features for each one of them.
Yeah,
I believe
different pillars.
as technology grows and the focus is mainly our consumers. Consumers are seeking the same, regardless if it's an on-demand marketplace or a retailer. So these delivery platforms, marketplaces, and retailers are in the aim of like fulfilling these needs, and technology is a key piece to enable that. So yeah.
Yeah. You know what, with everyone, we've had a lot of podcast episodes lately with
Yeah.
regards to e-commerce from both sides. Regardless of what is a specific, let's say, sub-function anyone works at, we all end up speaking a little bit about retail media as well, because this part has boomed a lot. I'm very keen to understand, how is this evolving for you and impacting you at PedidosYa?
So I think with retail media, we have, I like to do, when I talk with partners and when I talk with media agencies, I believe there's a lot of work to do globally, but especially in Latin American markets. And I also like to do like analogies about physical spaces and retail media as well, to like try to persuade also commercial teams to understand that, yeah, of course, like we play a role in the digital ecosystem, not as a retailer, but also as a media partner. And they can use retail media to like create consideration and brand awareness as well, as they do in other digital platforms that they are maybe not retailers. And the value of this is that it's like there are shoppers with an intention of purchase, viewability. It's really good in terms of the value proposal that retail media offers, and it drives conversions as well, and more like it attributes the conversion in a more effective way. But there's a lot of like, how can I say it? But there's a lot of they say they only think about retail media for performance. And I try to do that analogy, and I say, okay, but when you go to a modern trade, for example, and you have like a huge visibility, what's the role of that visibility? Not necessarily. And when you go to the shelf, like the position of your product, yeah, of course, that's performance. You put it on the bottom. It's the same as the digital shelf within the retail side, e-retail side. However, I see that they only focus on, okay, if I'm going to invest in retail media, it's because we want conversions. And there's a lot of things to do, because we have a lot of users that are actively and monthly in the platform. So it's a really good space as well to drive consideration, to position a product with the attributes that they want. So there's a lot of capabilities that we need to develop across the region, distributors, partners, CPGs, and brands to have to grab the opportunities that the retail media offer has for them and for the brands. And another thing that I see is that also I see there is even in CPGs, there is like the digital teams and the sales teams and the marketing teams. And sometimes like telling this to marketing, maybe because they are more like related to advertising and so on. It's more like easy for them to understand. What
There's
we're
a
saying,
language barrier as well, right?
yeah,
They
but
don't understand the abbreviations even sometimes.
yeah. So I think there is a lot of work to do internally, but it's part of like what we have to do as an industry, with media agencies, with retail, um, to show also the opportunities and teach, how they can like compass this this. But I see not I see in Latin America a lot of like the increase of ad sales in different players. So I see that a lot of brands are like understanding their importance if we compare it with other years. Uh, However, there is still a lot of work to do regarding specifically that. Same with programmatic buying as well, for example, that I see that it's a huge trend um, that brands need to capitalize,
Mhm.
And so far in the time that you've been in the role, is there a successful digital strategy or campaign in retail media that has led to like significant business growth for an FMCG company that you've driven?
So I believe that more than campaigns, now that I'm like it's a short time in the role, but more of campaigns. I believe the projects that have most inspired me in my career are the ones that and in PedidosYa is to have the opportunity to establish the department from the ground, and integrate that to other business units and other departments, and propose initiatives that are aimed at delivering long-term value to the business. So I say that, and I always say this, like prior to COVID, I was deeply interested in understanding the impact of digital on sales, which this drove me to propose marketplace development initiatives and collaborating with these interdisciplinary teams to understand the value chain, identifying do we have the right partner to manage the operation, understanding the shopper behavior to craft maybe like what's the optimal portfolio and the price strategy that will significantly contribute to the growth of that specific project. So for me is that because we the department was not created, so it was like I have to start it from scratch. So it was really challenging, but really exciting as well. To like, how are we going to approach our partners? What's the value proposal? How are we going to like promote retail media across our partners? How we standardize our processes and how we integrate it with departments. Like for me, that's like what I think more proud in this past 7 months that I've been here in PedidosYa. And closing deals with really huge CPGs is really like we are really happy to say, okay, we close this deal, and it makes us our team really proud. With long-term JVPs, not necessarily like small investments once a month that actually like won't drive like the brands as they should. So for me, like influencing the team to go into this approach and support media agencies on this journey and support CPGs, that's what I call success right now.
Brings a lot of satisfaction, right? Shaking hands on it and knowing that you're bringing value together.
Yeah. And how we can, for example, different industries have different challenges. So not all the categories have the same headroom. Not all the categories have the same market share, like, and the same KPIs. So like for me, it's like now we have to solve I don't know, technological integrations and be creative with solutions that that go according to our partner needs. So having this freedom to propose initiatives and create this team, which is a new area, but the Delivery Hero and PedidosYa is really focused on growing because we understand the potential that this area has for the future of the business. So So I would say that really integrated digital area, this area from the ground up, you know.
And it's for sure like an area with huge potential, right? But I'm really curious to know what else are you excited about in the future? Like thinking long term, is it AI coming into play and like hyper personalization? What are you very excited and cannot wait for it to come?
I guess like I would say like if we are talking of about this, I would say like for me the possibilities that data and personalization gives you, it's like incredible. I mean, right now, even now, like we can segmentate whatever we want, you know, like and it's amazing how we can profile shoppers, you know, and how we can target it with the right message. The thing is that sometimes not everybody's in the same pace, like in the whole like industry. So they are excited to do that, but they need to keep up um, driving speed to take out the most of the segmentation. So, however, like if you say like, how do I see like innovation like in digital that I'm more excited about? That maybe it's not. I'm really eager into digital in the whole in the from the total, not only on the e-commerce side, but digital, for example. I'm really particularly excited about several digital trends and innovations that can impact the corporate culture and the people's mindset in the coming years. And I believe when we talk about digital transformation, especially in CPGs, one of the biggest challenges I see is not if we have the right tools or if we have the e-commerce team or the digital team, is how we incorporate um, digital as part of the culture, you know, how we embrace it, and like other areas can be part of that transformation, because that actually will drive the growth. So as organizations, I believe, undergo into digital transformations, there is a growing emphasis on aligning technology with core values, you know, aligning and reinforcing corporate cultures that prioritize agility, learning, upskilling, and pace to the business. I believe that's a huge challenge for HR teams, because they have to lead this, but and we're talking about people, and changing that sometimes it's companies struggle a lot, you know. And another thing that excites me a lot is that maybe tools for unbiased recruitment, diversity analytics, and I don't know, like helping organizations to build like with digital a more equitable and inclusive work environments, you know. So for me, this shift is like driving a cultural change towards maybe a greater transparency and accountability and respect for I like to respect for diverse perspective, which I think it enrich the workspace, you know, and digital can bring that to the table. So yeah, I mean these innovations in digital for me are fostering environments where flexibility, well-being, continuous learning, and are like integral into the workplace experience, you know. So I must say, like, if we talk about e-commerce per se, I will say personalization. But if we think about digital in a more broader um, areas, I believe this one that I say to you about like digital transformation for organizational
like
values,
like as a catalyst for change, no?
Yes. Which I believe it's key, because the movements are being done by people, not necessarily tools. Yeah.
And now that you're managing, I understand that you're managing a team that's quite cross-functional now, right?
Yes.
So
It's been really challenging because we need to ensure that a lot of departments are integrated. So we work a lot with marketing. We work a lot with product, for example, to add new tools to our value proposal in terms of ads. We work with technology to have like the right tools for like the implementation and optimization and the data. So my approach, I say, like it emphasizes on communication and shared goals. and adaptability, of course. So for me, it's like how we foster a collaborative culture and utilize the right tools, and actually commercial routines and processes are very important to ensure like that all the departments are aligned and can adapt quickly to changes, and it changed quite a lot. I'm not going to lie, like it changed quite a lot. So one day is this and the other day is another thing. So
it's a take company, right? So
yes, we need to be very adaptable. So if I say, like, if we are clear on KPIs that are relevant to our department and are shared to all the stakeholders, and they understand the impact of our department in the business, we can all contribute and be part of that goal. So this helps a lot to track the process and ensure like the whole team is working towards like a common objective. So yeah, another thing is that I facilitate workshops and planning sessions to ensure that my team and other departments are involved in initiatives.
Mhm.
So this like approach of collaboration helps align plans and expectations. Something that I recall from my coach is say like, okay, don't say the KPIs as a direction, like make people, influence people by making them feel part of something as well, So
Co-create in a way.
yes. And sometimes we say, okay, maybe I will do it faster if we do it by our own. But, you work with different areas. So like involving them from the beginning and make them feel that they are part of something, of a project. I believe it gave you more, like in the medium long term, it gave you more like results, better results. Yeah.
And higher engagement for sure of all the people.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
And,
uh,
and listening, like
yeah.
listen to the feedback, because maybe, okay, my team may feel that they are doing the right thing, but maybe it's not seen that way from other departments. So listen to my team feedback, but other departments as well, and seeking for this input, we can adapt or adjust to have a
Mhm.
smooth integration and a better work environment, So yeah, it's complex because we work with a lot of areas and we need to align a lot of things. There are like commercial agreements, and then by the other part, like we need to understand what's this commercial agreement and how the retail media packages that we are selling, for example, it impacts the commercial deals that they may have. So there needs to be an alignment in a beforehand to avoid friction, I guess. Yeah, that's it.
You've done a little bit of everything digital, I guess, like all the past experience that you have all those years and all the change that you're now bringing in an organization, because you are in the position to lead all that change. I'm wondering if you were at the point where you would go back to little Jennifer, when you just came out of school and started working, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give yourself?
That's a trick question, That's a trick question, but it's a really good one. I will say that I would give my younger self to embrace flexibility and open to adapt quickly to new situations. Because when I see myself, like back in the days in my early career, I sometimes rigidly adhere to plans and strategies, which occasionally limited my ability to pivot when circumstances change, So I encourage my younger self to view flexibility not as a weakness, but as a strength, because being adaptable, I believe, allows you to respond effectively to unforeseen challenges, size new opportunities, and innovate, being creative, into that specific change, and embrace flexibility. Embracing a flexibility mindset, I believe, enables you to grow as well and learn from diverse experiences and situations and navigate to the evolving landscape with greater I believe with greater ease and resilience, not being frustrated when things change. I must say that would be my advice to my younger self and to young people that are starting their careers in digital and e-commerce, because it's changed. It changed quite a lot, so you need to be open to change and adapt.
This was Jennifer Conley, Head of Media Solutions, North LATAM at PedidosYa. Christina, what are your key takeaways from this conversation?
First of all, it's one more conversation about LATAM, and I'm always very intrigued to talk about this region as we see a lot of growth. And PedidosYa is one of the delivery platforms, and we don't speak a lot about this. Usually we talk with retailers or the FMCG part of the equation, right? So I loved how they are also trying actively to integrate retail media into the retail operations. And I understand that from Jennifer's point of view, coming from a brand, this is where this is the biggest opportunity and challenge, right? So how do you get from the here's what I want to achieve with my brand activation and communication to how do I get this down to the operationalization of the plans?
Yeah, she did mention that like the retailer side, she felt it was more data driven, interestingly, and you have to respond to things quicker. I think that's the key takeaway, and that you need to be more agile and responsive. I guess the data driven, you do get the data directly from the consumers, which in FMCG, you're one step removed from that, like compared to her experience at Diageo.
Exactly. And also when you're at an on-demand platform where you have a lot smaller but much more frequent kind of transactions, and the data points that you're getting are vast. And that's where you need all these advanced analytics. And I love that how they connected that with the kind of trends that we're seeing in LATAM. But I do believe that this is kind of more universal when it comes to convenience and accessibility, which is primarily what the consumers want, and how you need to use this advanced analytics and data and your adaptability in order to provide, first of all, a seamless experience, but on top of that, as much as possible, more personalization.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think of the part? I thought that was interesting, of aligning tech with core values and like having an impact on society even.
I love that. And I loved how when Jennifer was talking about the future, her focus was not on here's how retail media is going to evolve. And for example, we're going to get hyper personalization, but she was really going back into how can technology enable companies to further promote and evolve their culture with the sense of, providing more flexibility, better well-being, continuous learning for the employees, but as well as promoting the different ESG, perhaps, KPIs that each of the companies have.
Yeah, I think it can, and that can be done through like advanced technology like data analytics, predictive analytics, and machine learning, and so on. But it can even be done by more simple technologies like doing a podcast, for example. So I'm actually, we're, as you know, speaking with an FMCG company to potentially help them promote the culture internally through our expertise podcasting as well. So that can be a good option.
Yeah, kind of democratization of the information that you have. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, look, very excited to continue that conversation around e-commerce, retail media, and ultimately like how can brands be closer to the consumer and how consumers evolve. So do remember to tune into our next episodes, which will come out every Saturday and every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. Central European Time. Have a great one. Bye-bye.